Hello, good morning, friends. Today we are going to discuss PYQ, previous year question, that is from IIT JEE 2017. The question is like, let x, that is the greatest integer function, is less than equal to, you know what is the greatest integer function. It is like, if the greatest integer function is given like 0.7, then the greatest integer function of this value, the value is 0. If it is for 1, it will be 1. That means if it is from 0 to 1, whatever decimal is that, 0.4 something, then the greatest integer function will be like 0. If it is for 1 to 2, then it will be like 1. The greatest integer function will be like 1. So now that is the key in this problem. So the question is like, this is x is greater than integer function, and the question is x cos pi x plus, this is the greatest integer function of x, is discontinuous for which values. Okay, so for which values this term, this question value is discontinuous, that is the question being asked here. And the value for, if you take x is equal to 0, and 0 multiplied by something, that is x value x plus, it will be 0. If it is 0 multiplied by x minus, it will be 0. So there is no problem for x, for f of 0 plus and f of 0 minus. The value was something x plus or x minus, the value will be same. So x is equal to 0. For x is equal to 0, this term is continuous because it is multiplied by x, so it will be continuous by default. So now we have to check for these three terms. X is equal to 1, first x is equal to 2, and x is equal to minus 1. For three of these values we have to check the continuity, or if it is 5, it is discontinuous. So if we take x is equal to 1 value here, and for x is equal to value, and put this value here in this term, f of x, that is f of 1, that will be 1 into, for in substituting in x, into cos pi x plus x. Like I have just said, for a greatest integer function of 1 is 1 only, so we are taking, for f of 1 we are taking 1, and 1 plus 1 is equal to cos pi 1 plus 1, that is 2 pi. Cos 2 pi is equal to 1, that is f of 1. If we take f of plus 1, if we calculate for f of plus 1, plus 1 will be like 0.000 something 1, that is 1 plus h, you know this. So for f of 1 plus h, the value will be from 1.0 something something. The greatest integer function for 1 plus h is 2, 2 or 1 to 2. So now greatest integer function for 1 plus h is equal to 1, that is from 1 to 2, whatever value is there, the value will be 1. So here 1 into, that is this value, will take in fresh paper, f of 1 plus is equal to 1 into cos pi 1 plus 1 plus h some value, and this is the greatest integer function, and 1 into cos pi 1 plus, and this value will be 1 plus 1 only, and as well cos 2 pi, that will be is equal to 1. So f of 1 plus is equal to f of 1. So here it's almost like equal, both are equal. For now we have to check for f of 1 minus. F of 1 minus will be 1, sorry, we'll write the equation, f of x into cos pi x plus greatest integer function x. So what happened here is, this is 1 in multiplied by cos pi x, that is 1 we can take, plus 1 minus will be there. Here also 1 minus will be there, 1 minus will be there, it's okay, but these values will not make a big difference. So here what we are doing, the 1 minus h, for 1 minus h it will be like 0, right? And here it will be like 1 into cos pi into 1, cos pi is equal to minus 1, you know this. So here minus 1, and if you take f of 1 plus is equal to f of 1, but it is not equal to f of 1 minus. So this is discontinuous. This is discontinuous. So this is the value for this is discontinuous, and for the same way for plus 2 x is equal to 2 will be discontinuous. This is MSQ, that is multiple select question. So it is, this is correct option, this is correct option, and the last option is x minus 1. This is also discontinuous, but we will solve the problem for minus 1 because a lot of students will have doubts. So now what happens here is x of minus 1, x of minus 1 is f of minus 1 is minus 1 multiplied by cos pi minus 1 a plus, that is x cos pi into x plus greatest integer function x. And now, and here it is minus 1, that is minus 1 minus 1's greatest integer function will be minus 1 only. Okay, but here we have no problem for x f of, and if you put this value cos minus 2 pi, cos minus 2 pi into cos minus 2 pi is equal to plus 2 pi is same, right, because it is an even function. So for this minus 1 will be there and this will be minus 1 itself. So now first we got the value of f of minus 1 is equal to minus 1, and now f of minus 1 plus. So if we take this value minus 1 into cos minus 1 plus minus 1 plus h, this is the greatest integer function. So the value of this thing minus 1 plus h, greatest integer function will be minus 1 to minus 2. For the minus 1 to minus 2, the greatest integer function will be like if we are adding something. If you are adding something minus 1 plus some 0.1 if we take, and the value will be 0.9. So for minus 0.9, for minus 0.9 the greatest integer function will be minus 1. So if we are taking minus 1 here, minus 1 cos minus 1 plus of minus 1, it will be cos minus 2, and here it will be minus 1 as usual. So the answer will be again minus 1. So it is it's again f of minus 1 is equal to f of minus 1 plus. So now what we have to find out is f of minus 1 minus. So it will be like minus 1 cos pi into minus 1 plus minus 1 minus. What is minus 1 minus? Minus 1 minus h, that will be minus 1.1 we can take. So if you take minus 1.1, the greatest integer value will be minus 2, because from minus 1 to minus 2 the greatest integer function will be minus 2 only. So from 0 to 1 whatever values are there, the greatest integer value will be 0. From 1 to 2 whatever the greater value will be there, the greatest integer function will be 1. And but in negative what happens here is from minus 1 to 0, okay, from minus 1 to 0, then the greatest integer function will be minus 1. From minus 1 to minus 2, greatest integer function is minus 2. So we have to take from this value is from minus 1 to minus 2. Between minus 1.1 will be from minus 1 to minus 2. So we are taking the value of greatest integer value is minus 2, and solving this problem, putting this minus 2 in this equation, minus 1 pi minus 1 plus, and this value minus 1 minus will be minus 2 because of the greatest integer function. So solving this, cos pi into minus 3 pi minus 1, this minus cos pi 3 pi, because it's an even function, right? Even function. Cos minus 3 pi is equal to cos 3 pi. So it will be like cos 3 pi and minus 3 pi are same. So once we take this value, it will be cos minus 3 pi is minus 1 into minus 1. This minus 1. It will get plus 1. So f of my 1 minus is equal to my plus 1. F of 1 plus is equal to f of 1 is equal to 1. minus 1, which is not equal. So in this formula, the question here is like for x minus 1, f of minus 1 minus is not equal to f of minus plus. So this is also discontinuous. So these three options are correct: B, C and D. Thank you.